I read it over and over 3 times. By the third time, I couldn't hold back my tears. Prince William emotionally shared about a message his brother Prince Harry sent while he was critically ill in the hospital. What initially seemed like a routine royal interview suddenly became a global focal point when the usually reserved William revealed for the first time an undisclosed truth. Harry had sent him a desperate message, possibly the last one right after waking from a severe illness. So what did that message contain? Why did Harry reach out only to William and no one else? And where was Meghan Markle, the wife Harry once left everything for at that moment? These questions unveil a dark and complex picture of family relations, brotherhood, and above all, a story of betrayed trust. William spoke little, but his eyes, his silence, and his calm tone sent shockwaves through the public's heart. 1. William breaks the silence. Prince Harry's emergency hospitalization has once again shocked public opinion. However, the controversy is not about his health condition, but the reaction from the family, or more precisely, the suspicious silence. The British royal family made no official statement. No one from inside appeared publicly, no inquiries were made, and there was no confirmation of the situation from the Sussex side. Silence enveloped everything. The question arises, where does Harry stand in the hearts of his own family? Why, when he is facing a crisis, does no one step forward? Has he been abandoned, or did he leave on his own and now must bear the consequences? Could it be due to past decisions leaving the royal family publicly criticizing his father and brother, accusing discrimination, that Harry now almost has no clear place? Regardless, he is still the son of King Charles III, the younger brother of the Prince of Wales. Can the family really ignore when their blood is in despair? Amid all this silence, William is the only one to speak out. Not with criticism or defense, but with cautious, deeply personal sharing. In a brief internal interview, William confirmed that after recovering from his critical condition, Harry sent him a message. Just a short line, but according to William, it weighed like a stone in my heart. I think I was speechless because I didn't expect that in the end. The one he turned to was me. William spoke about this event not as a royal, but as a brother who was once betrayed and suddenly received what could be a final message from his brother, possibly forever. What did that message say? William did not reveal details, but disclosed part of the content. If I could go back, I would choose differently. Simple words, unclear, but heavy with meaning. What does choose differently mean? Not leaving the royal family, not listening to Meghan, not cutting off contact with his brother, father, and the institution that raised him? Could it be a silent apology, a confession upon awakening, or simply a cry for help in panic? William did not answer but said, I think Harry was under pressure that no outsider could understand. He felt abandoned not just by the royal family, but also by many others. This statement opens many speculations. Who abandoned Harry? The royal family, friends, the public, or the wife he once fully trusted, more notably according to William. Harry said he could not reach Meghan during that time. No calls were answered, no responses from her. This detail startled the entire UK. Why was Meghan silent? Did she know her husband was critically ill in the hospital? When asked about Meghan's reaction, William declined to comment, only gently saying, I think Harry was sad because he felt everyone had abandoned him. I don't know if I have the right to judge. Could this be William's subtle way of saying Harry is isolated to the extreme? A man who was once a prince protected, love now falling into a mental crisis, with no one by his side, only able to turn to the person he once left. This inevitably raises questions about the royal family's role in Harry's downfall. Are they truly turning their backs, or are they just protecting themselves after many attacks? While Harry once said, William is no longer my brother, that I used to feel he was part of the system against me now, William is the last person Harry calls out to in despair. Could it be that deep down, Harry has never fully cut ties with the brother he once idolized as a child? British public opinion is divided into two clear streams. One side sees it as the inevitable consequence of what Harry caused, leaving the royal family continuously making statements, causing media crises. But the other side asks, despite conflicts when a family member falls into the abyss, can one just stand by and watch William, though reserved, has chosen to act? His appearance sharing and revealing Harry's message is not just about gaining points. It is like a quiet call, something very serious is happening. That Harry, the man who once said he was liberated from control, might actually be losing control. 2. Where was Meghan when Harry was in critical condition? Among all the revelations from Prince William, perhaps the most surprising to the public was not the content of Harry's message, but the complete disappearance of Meghan Markle at the very moment her husband was hospitalized in a critical physical and mental state. This information was not released through any press statement or confirmation from the royal office. It was William himself who unexpectedly disclosed it. Not with harsh words, but in a gentle tone tinged with sorrow. I don't know if she was informed, but Harry told me that he couldn't get in touch with Meghan the entire time. This seemingly simple statement opened a series of unignorable questions. Why wasn't Meghan by her husband's side during that critical moment? Why, since Harry was admitted to the hospital with serious symptoms, such as exhaustion, sleep disturbances, and possible use of medication without guidance, did the public see absolutely no reaction from Meghan? No statement, no social media post, no hospital visits, not even words of reassurance, and she was not present at the hospital. For any couple, this would be unusual, but for Meghan, who once declared she would always stand by Harry against all pressures from the royal family, the media and society, this absence is even more inexplicable. The next question naturally follows, did Meghan know about the situation? If she did, why was there no response? People began to retrace the timeline. The last public event where Harry and Meghan appeared together was in Nigeria on May 10th, during a 3-day charity trip. The two were photographed intimately holding hands and smiling brightly. But just 1 week later, Harry was rushed to a hospital in California. Since then, more than 20 days ago, Meghan has completely vanished from the media. No statements, no social media activity, no confirmation from legal or PR representatives. For longtime followers of the couple, this is extremely unusual. Meghan has never before been absent from the media for so long, especially when negative news directly involves Harry. Based on this reality, several specific hypotheses have been proposed, and notably, each hypothesis leads to a completely different scenario regarding Meghan's role in this crisis. The first hypothesis, Meghan deliberately remained silent to protect her personal image. This is a media strategy assumption. Under this view, Meghan's absence is not indifference, but an understanding that appearing while Harry is surrounded by media speculation about drug use and mental health crises would damage the personal brand she is building. The image of an independent, strong female leader, entrepreneur, influencer, and content producer could collapse if linked to a husband who is deteriorating and controversial. Therefore, Meghan might choose to stay out of the spotlight, letting public speculation swirl while preserving her own value. This cold approach is not uncommon in the entertainment industry, especially when image is the most valuable asset. The second hypothesis, Meghan and Harry have experienced a serious rift and are temporarily separated, but have not announced it. Within royal media circles, this assumption attracts much attention. A source in California said recently that Harry and Meghan almost live separately, each focusing on their own projects. Meghan is developing a new lifestyle brand, investing in podcasts, cookbooks, and fashion, while Harry mainly works independently on charity projects. If they have truly separated temporarily, Meghan's absence at Harry's hospitalization is less surprising. However, they have not publicly declared their marital status and maintain the image of an independent royal couple. If separated, Meghan's silence takes on a different meaning, no longer bound by responsibility, obligation, or love. The third hypothesis. Meghan is creating distance to protect herself from the troubles Harry causes. This is a pragmatic scenario fitting recent contexts. Since early this year, Harry has repeatedly faced difficulties from unsuccessful media lawsuits in the UK, being criticized by the US media as inconsistent to investors doubting his leadership in charitable funds. Meanwhile, Meghan has been praised for a comeback after a period of obscurity. Media-wise, separating from Harry helps her avoid being caught in negative spirals. She does not need to explain her husband's behavior, nor serve as the backdrop for his failures. If Meghan truly chooses this path, it signals that feelings no longer guide her. Calculation and self-preservation are top priorities. The fourth and most frightening hypothesis: Meghan has actually withdrawn from the marriage and is waiting for the right moment to announce it. Many royal media experts believe that from a crisis management standpoint, Meghan is inactive because all decisions have already been made. The disappearance is not a reaction, but the first step in a plan to end the relationship. She remains silent because she does not want to get entangled. Emotionally does not appear because she has cut all ties with Harry. If true, Harry's current state is not just a health collapse, but a total breakdown of career, psychology, and marriage. Of course, all hypotheses coexist and none are fully confirmed. But one thing is undeniable: Meghan, who once stood beside Harry against all media attacks, is no longer there in his most critical moment. For whatever reason, this creates a huge void in the public eye and raises questions about the true nature of their relationship. Harry, who once left the royal family for Meghan, is now at risk of being abandoned by the very person he chose to leave for. Meghan, the symbol of courage and loyalty, is now controversial for her cold silence. Meanwhile, William, the brother Harry publicly turned his back on, becomes the only one receiving messages at the critical moment. Could it be that only in the final moments of trust do we realize who is truly by our side? 3. Blind faith and the price to pay. Prince Harry is perhaps one of the few members of the royal family who has experienced the journey from being a model rebellious prince to an internationally controversial figure and ultimately a man struggling with a personal crisis. To fully understand the current tragedy, we must look back at the time when he decided to leave everything behind: his title responsibilities and even blood ties, to pursue a promised future of freedom. In that decision, Meghan Markle was the most profound influence. No one denies the intense love Harry had for Meghan. He openly expressed it, defended her to the end, even against warnings from his family. In interviews, he repeatedly emphasized that Meghan helped him liberate himself, escape a toxic environment, and that she was the only person who ever truly understood me. Those words once moved millions of hearts. Yet when reflecting now, with Harry hospitalized and unable to contact the wife he fully trusted, questions arise. Was it genuine love or merely blind faith? Harry's departure from the royal family was not simply a personal decision, it was a series of carefully prepared and highly publicized moves. From the letter to Queen Elizabeth II requesting to step back from royal duties, the explosive Oprah Winfrey interviews, Netflix documentaries, to the angry memoir Spare, all closely followed by the public. At every step, Meghan was either beside him or leading the way. In the 2021 Oprah interview, Meghan admitted to experiencing discrimination, isolation, and even thoughts of giving up life. Harry sat next to her, holding her hand, admitting he didn't do enough to protect her. The public was divided. One side sympathized, the other suspected it was a media stunt designed to attack the monarchy. Whatever the case, the outcome was clear: Harry became increasingly estranged from King Charles III and Prince William. From a key figure in the line of succession, he became an outsider without role, responsibility, or status within the family. Notably, Meghan took no steps to mend this relationship. On the contrary, her subsequent appearances only heightened tensions. Could it be that Harry lost all his support because he trusted his wife too much? A London media analyst once stated Harry followed the path he believed in, thinking it would lead to something better. But the guide Meghan never truly understood the price to pay when stepping away from the protection of the monarchy. The reality confirms this. Since leaving the royal family, Harry has continuously been entangled in troubles. Legally, he no longer receives free security protection in the UK, causing controversy when he returns for events. Financially, many joint projects between him and Meghan, from the Spotify deal and Archetypes podcast to TV programs, have faced difficulties, cancellations, or poor reviews. Public opinion in the US has grown cold, while the UK public has turned its back. Those who once supported them, believing in the fight for freedom, now begin to question, is this truly freedom or just getting lost? In this context, the message sent to William, "If I could go back, I would choose differently," is not only a lament, but possibly a late confession. What does choose differently mean? Not leaving the royal family, not putting all his faith in Meghan, not cutting ties with his brother who stood by him through childhood. If Harry truly regrets, the next question is even more painful. Is it too late to make amends? The answer is unclear, but the price Harry pays is evident. Psychologically, he is broken. Relationally, he is isolated. Professionally, he struggles to find himself without guidance. The worst part is that the woman who once was his support is no longer beside him. Strangely, in all previous crises, from the leaked naked photos in Las Vegas in 2012 to serving in Afghanistan, Harry always had support: the royal family, his brother, or positive media. But this time, all vanished. Meghan, the last one left, has also disappeared. If Harry's faith was misplaced, then today's price is not only lost reputation, but lost direction in life. In every breakup, the most painful realization is not the rift itself, but discovering the other person was never truly sincere. If Harry is going through that, the remaining question is, how long have I been deceived? Of course, Harry may not be entirely deceived. Perhaps he noticed signs, heard warnings, but out of love, pride, and the desire to prove himself, he still chose to believe. That's why many experts call this blind accompaniment syndrome, knowing you're wrong, but too afraid to turn back for fear of failure. Perhaps that is why, despite storms, Harry still defends Meghan. And now, when everything falls apart, the greatest pain is not leaving, but the torn ego. Could it be that Harry now realizes not all criticism from the royal family was baseless? Not that William is cold, but that he is tired of trying to protect a brother who won't listen? Not that Meghan is isolated, but that she chooses to stand outside to manipulate everything. Finally, the public witnesses a changed Harry, not the man fighting for family justice, but one who lost everything after betting on an uncertain love. If that is the price of freedom, perhaps it is too high and too late to reclaim it. 4. Has the family turned its back? It is undeniable that regardless of which side people take in the current royal crisis, Prince Harry and Prince William were once the closest brothers in the royal family. From the tragedy of losing their mother, Princess Diana, to their years growing up under the public eye, they were always side by side, like two sides of the same coin, different but inseparable. Yet now they stand on opposing sides. One remains with the crown. The other has left everything behind and is sinking into crisis. What caused this breakdown? Can blood ties fade so easily? Or is there an invisible hand overshadowing that sacred bond? Since childhood, Harry and William symbolized unity after the upheaval. The death of Princess Diana in 1997 was a wound that would never heal. At her funeral, the two boys walked together silently without tears, but the whole world understood that they had only each other to rely on. Years later, Harry stood by William on every important occasion, from Kate Middleton's wedding to the coronation. William once said, "Harry is not just my brother, but an indispensable part of my life." Those words now sound like a farewell to something lost. When Harry decided to leave the royal family, William was reportedly the fiercest opponent, not out of duty, but because he clearly saw the great risks of that decision. According to multiple sources, William bluntly told Harry, "I'm not sure if this is a choice out of love or just an illusion." That statement may have been the starting point of the long-lasting conflict that followed. Harry saw it as an insult to Meghan, while William claimed he only wanted to protect his brother. And so the distance began. No more late-night talks, no more intimate emails, no more laughter behind the doors of Kensington Palace. The public doesn't need a detailed retelling. They have seen it in the evasive looks at Prince Philip's funeral, the cold distance at King Charles's coronation, and most recently, the silence when Harry returned to England without seeing William. An invisible wall has been erected not by time, but by personal choice and external interference. That is why Harry's message to William during his critical illness carries such heavy meaning. "If I could go back, I would choose differently." Is this an apology, a late admission, or merely a faint light in a lost life? William has not revealed much, but the partial disclosure of the message shows there is still something unresolved in him. Perhaps regret, hope, or pain. William did not directly answer whether he has forgiven his brother, but he said thoughtfully, "Blood doesn't disappear, it only gets obscured." That is neither reconciliation nor severance, but the truth that no matter how deeply hurt, family is the last thing left when everything else fades away. As for Harry, does he have enough courage to return? Or is he stuck in a self-created world where relationships are just products of media contracts and PR strategies no one knows for sure? But one thing is clear: when Meghan is no longer the support, Harry cannot forget the brother who once held his hand at their mother's funeral, the one who understood him best. It must be noted that Harry's departure from the royal family was not just a personal decision, but triggered a crisis of trust within the family. King Charles no longer publicly mentions his youngest son. Kate Middleton, once close to Harry, also remains silent. People perceive this as indifference, but it is actually a defensive strategy. After all the accusations and stories from Meghan and Harry about discrimination and abandonment, any statement from the royal family could be twisted and used as a media weapon. In that context, silence is the only form of self-defense. Whatever the reason, that silence has made Harry increasingly lonely. When Meghan disappeared, the media stopped supporting him. Major contracts withdrew. The only thing left was family ties. If Harry loses even that, he will have nothing left. According to psychology, family reattachment after trauma is a phenomenon where, despite conflicts, people return to their roots in times of crisis. Harry is in that moment now. The brother he once turned his back on may now be his only way out. Notably, William does not exploit the situation, nor does he condemn or attack. His publicizing of the message, even though meaningful, was done cautiously. It is not a warning, but a slightly open door for his brother to know he can still come home if he wants. The image of Prince Harry now is a sad portrait, a prince without a crown, without support, losing public trust, and perhaps lacking a spiritual anchor. From an inspiring figure daring to leave the royal system, he has become the center of a difficult question: what truly caused this crisis? Who or what pushed him down this path? Some say the royal family drove Harry to the edge with strict rules, harsh hierarchies, and silence that isolates anyone who does not fully comply. Those who followed Princess Diana can empathize with this view, but the difference is, Diana left with honor while Harry left bitterly, living in silence mixed with doubt. Where lies the difference? Could it be that the change did not come from the royal family, but from the person beside Harry? Since Meghan Markle appeared, Harry changed quickly, his thinking, speech, behavior, and choices. Love pushed him to do what he never dared, but also to burn the bridges back, severing ties with his brother, and the protective network built from childhood, a win or lose decision. So is Meghan the one causing Harry's downward spiral? Or did Harry willingly let himself be led because he wanted to believe, to try to affirm himself after years living in the royal shadow? The answer probably cannot be boiled down to one individual, but what has unfolded from Meghan's silence when Harry was hospitalized, their collapsing joint projects, to the desperate message sent to William, makes people feel Harry is waking up in a reality he himself does not yet recognize. So in the end, is Harry the victim, the awakened one, or just a man betting his life on love at the wrong time? Is Meghan the devoted wife misunderstood, or the cunning woman who placed herself at the center of every game, then quietly withdrew when the risks became too great? And what about the royal family? Are they truly betraying or simply defending themselves against a son who chose to leave but returned with hurtful words? No one has a definitive answer, and maybe there shouldn't be one. As William said, blood doesn't disappear, it only gets obscured. That is also true for reality. It does not vanish, only temporarily covered by anger, misunderstandings, and media. But one day, people will look back not to criticize or excuse, but to understand that the breaking of a prince is not a fairy tale gone wrong, but a deeply human story. And in any crisis, the most frightening thing is not the truth itself, but the moment when people no longer have the courage to face it. What do you think about all these developments? Is Meghan truly innocent? Is Harry gradually coming to his senses? Please leave your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to share this article if you believe these questions deserve to be asked.